Alright guys, welcome to the Big Man's Cabana. I'm your host, Matthew Lepore, and I'm on with a very special guest, someone that I grew up with and now is visiting me from State College. Well, you're in town for the holidays.
I mean Christmas and everything.
Christmas, yeah. So this right now, you guys aren't going to see this at that time, but it is Christmas time. But the Ronan Bell. Yeah.
How we doing, brother?
Doing great, dude. This is a lot of fun, dude. For those of you who don't know, Ronan does a lot of this production and things like that with, his Instagram and everything like that, and he's helping his buddy with a podcast.
Yeah.
So it made this super, super easy. This is great.
Yeah,
dude.
it's nice to be in front of the camera for once. So it's a little bit weird. I'm not really used to it yet, but we'll get back there. Yeah,
dude, it's a lot of fun because a lot of people that come on, like I was telling you before, they freak out, and I'm just like, it's just my phone. It's just a conversation between two people. There happens to be microphones and a camera.
Oh, so. Yeah, 100%. And it's not like, I'm not saying that it's like a bad production, but it's like, it's just enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like, this isn't like intimidating to most people,
Yep.
but especially me, like, it's like, for me, I'm around it all the time. So at some points, like,
and you probably seen like higher, like a bigger production, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, the one that I'm like doing with one of my clients here up at State College, like, it's a little bit bigger than this, but like we bootstrap it too. Like it's nothing like crazy. Like we have like a Rodecaster. It's not it's nothing wild, but like it's just dude, my biggest thing is like if you got content, produce it. Like if you have an idea in your head, just might as well put it out on the internet.
That's
see what
I try
happens.
to tell everyone. They're always like, oh, I should have started a podcast, or I should have done like a like a YouTube video for like whether it's like gaming or lifting. And like I have a lot of buddies who go to Nats and like the Nationals for lifting. And I'm like, dude, why don't you like create content, get sponsors? Because you
can make so much money off of social media. It's insane how much like some of these deals are worth that they're doing with these influencers. I just don't think people realize it today. But like I think that in the next like 5 years, or people are just lazy, which is also like a big thing too. Like they don't want to do the work.
Well, that's true. And like I didn't even realize. I remember when I first started the Stuttering in Silence podcast. Shout out that one. I don't think Gavin and I understood how much effort went into it, how much editing, how much how much a thumbnail takes up time, how much like production and getting things ready and it's a big deal because you don't realize like when you edit a podcast, like even if you listen to it at 2 times speed, like that's still like 30 minutes to an hour of your time. Yep.
And you got to go ahead and make the thumbnail, like. Big optimization factor, especially on YouTube. Like, there's a lot that goes into it, and most people just don't recognize that. But like, once the product's finished, like that's what they see and everything, and like that's what they. Like, it's worth it when it's all said and done. And like, it'll be cool to look back on like 5-10 years from now and you'll be like, dang, like, do you remember that guy? And like, who knows where this will take you, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, you never know.
This podcast is actually I've been allowed to meet a lot of really cool people. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a really, really big band that they were just named the #1 amateur cover band on the East Coast. So I'm getting to meet with them, and like I never would have thought that I would have been able to do something like that. So it is pretty cool, and it is nice to have like someone who understands like the whole production.
Oh yeah,
because people don't get it. Like there were days when, but aside from school and aside from like strongman, they're like, "Oh, you're trying to come out?" I'm like, "Dude, I have to edit this thing. I have to get it done because otherwise, if it doesn't get done, and then like I'll be at the apartment or whatever, and like someone will be there like, dude, you've listened to that like 5 seconds like 6 times." I'm like, "Yeah, because I have to put this in here. I have to put that there."
So much that goes into it. You don't realize like how much you look at yourself and hear yourself, and you're like, God, I hate the way I talk, dude, and like, but dude, it's like it's worth it and everything. Like standing like so. My rule that I made for myself, right? Because I'm like, if no one tells me not to work, like I'll just keep working, right? So my biggest thing is on Friday nights, I'll stay in and I'll edit and I'll get all the work done that I have to just for the beginning of next week, right? But then like Saturday. You still have to be a kid a little bit, right? So that's the biggest thing is that balance. And now, like, I'm finally, like, after 3 years of doing, like, the whole production and video editing, videography thing, I'm finally starting to get it. Like, it took this long to get there, but it was
I'm
worth
still
it.
learning,
Yeah. Oh, it's just something you learn with time, really.
Yeah,
like,
no, that is like
the biggest thing.
And I learned a lot on, like, I did YouTube University, as they call it.
Oh.
dude.
Huge advocate. Don't go to college. It's not worth it.
Yeah, well, that was the whole thing. Like, I have like people that are signers that like are in production or do like digital studios, and that's what their degrees are in. And then they have like some asshole like me just producing this thing, and they're like, "Oh, where'd you learn how to do that?" I'm like, "Dude, I watched like some guy on YouTube, and I just followed what he said."
People think that it's so complicated to find anything on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned my whole career, right? I'm not going to use my degree after college. Maybe a little. I mean, it's in marketing, so
Sure,
like, it kind of goes hand in hand with it a little bit. But at the end of the day, I've learned everything I ever have off of YouTube, between management, learning how to do a podcast a couple years ago, like editing, every like editing aspect. Like I've had people like show me some things along the way, but at the end of the day, like everything I've ever learned is self-taught. Now, some people don't learn like that, but you have to learn in like today's society. Like no one's going to hold your hand and show you exactly what to do now.
Yes. Isn't so speaking of like production, you had the Ronan Bell show. Is that still a thing?
I don't post anymore. I just got busy. I got some like better opportunities and everything, so I kind of had to push that to the side. And I also burnt out from it. Mm-hmm. There was a lot that I posted like 2 or 3 times a day for probably around like 3-4 months, and it just got to be like way too much.
That's a lot, dude.
Exactly.
That is a lot.
So that's the biggest thing. Like it ended up being too much, but if I never did that, I probably would have never gotten to editing, because I was basically saying this podcast stuff's boring. I've been editing the same podcast. I've been doing the same thing 50,000 times over and over and over again. Yeah. So I was like, well, let me try this. And I mean, that's how like it all kickstarted. So at one point I said to myself, this is what I'm doing after college. Like I'm just going to podcast. I'm going to make a crap ton of money. Joe Rogan. And it didn't end up panning out that way, but I mean, it panned out pretty well. Yeah. So it just I didn't realize that was going to be the start for me, but it ended up being the start. I thought that was just the end path. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it was just like another step in the master path, which is the greatest thing.
So what do you usually use when you edit? So like for me, I use like DaVinci, and I use their lovely free version, because that's just how that's been transpiring. But
so I'm a Final Cut guy. Premiere sucks.
That's what I've heard. I've heard Premiere. Yeah. Premiere's
a little bit. It's not that it's complicated, but Final Cut, like the workflow on it, is so much better than people think. After Effects is really nice, so if you do use Premiere, I completely understand. But in my opinion, Final Cut's just so much easier. Like especially with like YouTube videos and stuff, long form content, it's great. Reels, it's okay. I wish I had Premiere. I wish I knew a little bit more. I'm gonna venture out there. Probably once I graduate school, when I have a little bit more time to sit down and learn.
It's like wildly expensive too, like Premiere. Yeah. Like that's the one thing that like I was looking into, was either getting the studio version or looking into Premiere. But I was like, dude, I just can't justify like $500 for like that. Yeah,
it's so much money. It's so much money. Like Final Cut's, I think like one-time payment of like $3 or something. Yeah. So it's not too bad. But dude, my main thing is like, you could outsource this. Find someone on Fiverr to do each podcast for like $10. It's so easy. Now that you know how to like do everything, you can look at someone's work and be like, that's good. Like we can just keep that. Yeah. Right? Or like you need to change like this little thing and do like quick revision. That. Yeah, dude. Fiverr is an amazing, amazing place. Like you just have to be a manager. And it's the same thing.
I'm not familiar.
So Fiverr, basically, it's just you hire freelancers to do stuff.
Oh, that's all it is. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Or you can hire like a bunch of people, like Upwork's another website with it. Like this video is not sponsored, but I'm a huge advocate for stuff. My buddy moves up at State College. He's a fighter too, and he also has an Amazon business on the side. And he told me this like 2 weeks ago. I was, dude, I don't know if anyone else can edit my video. He's like, dude, trust me, there's someone that can do it, and they'll probably do it better than you. I'm like, what do you mean by that, man?
No, listen, and that's probably right. I never thought. I always thought about like finding like a buddy, because I know that there's a bunch of people at like Ursinus or at like Kutztown that I know that could do it, but like I'm very picky with how things are, and like I just want to make sure that it would look good. So that's what I always did it. Plus, I was never. I mean, it's still not big, but like I was never. I had enough traction to where someone might want to do that for me, and I would pay them. But Fiverr, I'll have to look at that, because that actually would save me a lot of time.
Dude, or do that or hire an intern. Like, We have free interns with one of my other clients, and they learn from me. Like, you're providing knowledge to them. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. If you want to learn how to market, so you're doing say you're doing really well on TikTok, and like, I'll show you how to do these TikTok videos, but I need you to do some work in exchange. So it's not that they are working for free. You're paying them by knowledge, and whatever they want to do after that, it's up to them. Mm-hmm. They want to go out on their own, great. If you want to stay here once we're making more money, that's another thing. So
interesting.
It just depends. There's so many different directions that you can take. This industry's weird, man. It's just it's straight up. The industry's really weird.
More and more as I go along, and I didn't mean to. We started that thing as like a fun thing for us, and then when we started gaining traction, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I started my own, and I wasn't expecting it to do this well this fast. Like when I opened Spotify the one day, to look at just look at the numbers, I was like, oh. That's a little wild. I didn't expect that. And like especially people like you, like just right now, you know how much shit I've learned in the past like 12 minutes of doing this now.
Dude, there's so much that you learn from.
Yeah.
Your network is the greatest thing. There is no reason that you should not go. As a college kid, I would not be in my career. I would not be anywhere where I am today if it wasn't for just talking to people and just being yourself. And
see, I always get worried because like there's a lot of rough people out there, especially like that I'm learning in like this industry, and like I'm more reluctant to reach out because I don't want people to feel like I'm using them. So like there's like the great example. My not that you would know this person, but Jordan Martin, shout out Jordan. Her boyfriend's like a massive. He works in a production company, and dude, he is all across the country doing shows, sound, all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, maybe I should reach out to him, but I didn't want him to think like, oh, here's this small podcast. He just wants my time, and I'm like, no, like it's not what it was. But yeah, that's one thing.
It's never like that because they are like everyone in this industry understands that we were all at one point too.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, and my biggest thing too is like it doesn't. Just because you network with someone doesn't mean that they're going to help you now either. It might be
true.
Maybe like you talk to the person who starts mowing your lawn 10 years down the line and say, I want to start a landscaping company.
Yeah, true.
And then boom, there's that connection. We might not hit you up right away, or maybe you have to find someone else, but at least like there's some kind of gateway. Like the door is cracked a little bit. But yeah, dude, you just got to reach out to as many people as possible. That's the biggest thing, especially in college. Like at Penn State, it's the greatest networking spot in the world.
Massive.
It's massive. It's really big. It's a little bit overwhelming sometimes, but there's just so many. There's so many people that go there and went there that are just massive, which is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I remember like back in like high school, we used to go do this camp for wrestling, and like we would stay across the street from Rec Hall, and I remember like one time we like walked the campus. I'm like, dude, it just never fucking ends. Like it was like overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, oh shit. Like that was, it was wild of how big it was. Cause you always see like pictures and videos at the campus and you're like, okay, it's a big college. And you see like your whiteout games and it's just like ridiculous. And then.
Well, it's insane because Penn State becomes like the third biggest city in Pennsylvania or something behind Philly and Pittsburgh on like game days and stuff, which is wild.
Really?
But yeah, it's insane. There's so many people. So there's 110,000 people in the stadium, but think about that. Yeah, 110,000 people.
Dog. Oh my gosh. That's more than like a that's more than like a medium-sized town.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%. Well, my freshman year of college, I did cheerleading, and that was the first time that I got to experience. So I went to games when I was like a kid and everything.
Yeah.
But when you see 110,000 people around, you're like, wow, that is a tremendous amount of people. That's insane.
That's got to be like, dude, holy shit. That's wild. That amount of, because I'm trying to fathom 100,000 people in like one area and like logistically how they're getting there, how they're getting in, where they're going. Like that's wild.
So many people. It's insane. It's insane. It's like just a crazy place in general.
Now talk to me about like the whole cheerleading thing. So like, how was that experience at Penn State? Because I know if you're like a cheerleader or anything like that at any other college, you know it'll be like a big deal. But I feel like at Penn State, you guys are notorious for these wild games, your whiteout games, your crazy like life in general and how wild those games are. So like talk to me about that.
So it was just a cool experience. My buddy Rye like met the cheer coach at some pool party, and he was just that's literally how it went. He said, "Dude, I'll let you in this pool party if you come to a cheer practice." And he goes, "I've always been interested in cheer." And he came up to me. He's like, "I'm going to this practice." I'm like, "Dude, can I come?" That sounds like awesome. Like a great time.
That's so cool.
So, and then I followed through with it. I just did it for like a year and a half. It was cool. I did a cheerleading competition. If you had asked me that in high school, I would have never thought to do that.
Yeah.
But overall, dude, like it was really cool. It gave me like a group of. I feel like at college you need like a small group of friends that you're with to make it a lot less smaller, because like we were saying before, the Penn State is a very big place.
Yeah.
So I mean, dude, I would never not do that again. If I could do it all over again, I would never take like that part out of my college experience, because it was a great time. Like, get to hang out with cute girls and just like stand on a football field in front of 110,000 people. It's awesome. Cheerleading competition was but like I would never do that again. But
really, so why not?
I don't know, man. It's weird. It's a weird sport, bro. Something about it, like I don't know. I don't even know how to like put it in the words, but it's really odd because like you compete against other teams, but it's like a performance. It's kind of, I felt like I was on like America's Got Talent or something.
Well, I've seen it like a little bit, like when I know it's such a smaller scale, but like my little sister, she does competitive cheer.
Yeah.
So like I've seen like how they do like their routines, and they get off and they sit down. It's like a whole thing, and then like, you know, there's always some sort of small drama she has, and she's like 13. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christmas, dude. Like, what are we doing? But yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was weird. Maybe that's what I expected. But
yeah, competitive cheer's like no joke, man.
Really?
All the girls always said like on the cheer team, I didn't have to work for anything to get on the Penn State cheer team. I just had to be like decently strong and like lift them up. Mm-hmm. But like those girls worked their tails off just to get on that team, like find a spot to be in like college, because that competitive stuff, dude, that's insane. They train really hard. Awesome. People don't give any appreciation to it, but like after being there, I had a way better appreciation for like what cheerleading was and everything.
Yeah, I don't. The only reason I have some kind of idea is again because my mom and my little sister. But
yeah,
I always knew it was more intense, because like people always give like you know, like cheerleaders crap, like, oh, they just, you know, do cheers and things like that. But then like there was always the side of, well, competitive cheer is something that you really have to train for and work for. And, you know, as like you get older, you see videos, you learn a little bit. You're like, oh, this is like something that not a normal person can do. You can't just grab like a football and go out in the backyard and do cheer. You have to prep. You have to learn. You have to do routines. You have to like have camaraderie with your people. Like it's a whole thing, man. It's a whole thing. But it was fun for me. After that, it's like after a year and a half. So my freshman year, I did it all the way through. Halfway through sophomore year, I was basically like, I don't know, man. I got a job working as like customer support person for Apple, and I was like, that sounds a little bit better for that. Yeah. I mean, it was a cool experience, and like, what else am I really going to get out of it at that point? You have to know when an opportunity's kind of reached its potential. Like, could I have been a lot better at cheerleading? Yeah, but what is that going to bring me to? And at the end of the day, it would have been cool and everything if I could lift girls up like in different ways for how many ever minutes. But at the end of the day, man, it's like you're cheerleading,
yeah, it's cheerleading.
I get
it. There's nothing after college besides like cheering for professional teams, which there's no dudes that do. You have to you have to realize the potential, but it just wasn't. At some point, you got to tell yourself, like, all right, I have this opportunity in front of me, and I have this opportunity in front of me. Like, I need to choose which one's gonna further my career. Even though I'm having a lot of fun with this, it's just sometimes you gotta make that sacrifice.
No, I 1,000% get that. So, so you said you were working at Apple?
Yeah, dude, I was doing customer support. So there was this thing on TikTok that I found. Actually, so this is what happened. I got a laptop for Christmas, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever it was, and the battery died or whatever. The battery wasn't working in the laptop, so I had to keep calling customer support. And I asked the dude on the phone, like, dude, how can I work here? Like, I feel like I could do this job. Yeah. He told me, like, well, I don't know if I can tell you directly, but, like, just go on this website and kind of just fill out the application. And they do, like, a college program. Penn State. Highly recommend. No advertisement for Apple, but highly recommend, dude. easiest job. I made $20 an hour just sitting on my ass. They send you a computer. Like, you just have to, like, talk to grandmas and help them with their iPhones. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but
sure.
It was a great job. You get 401k, like, full benefits.
Dude, I wish I would have done that.
It's nuts, man.
That's wild. Oh, dude. Talking to everyone that's like been on recently too is like I hear about all these opportunities like Apple, or there was this thing with like Starbucks and like their Arizona program, all these things that I've been hearing about. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Why did I not know about any of this thing? Like,
it's so crazy.
That's
man.
wild to me.
Yeah, dude.
Holy shit.
It was a good time, but like make $20 after like singing and just talking to like the Abyss I did it for about a year. So you get a little bit tired of it, and like then you gotta ask yourself again, where's this
falling?
It's great that I'm getting like this paycheck and everything every 2 weeks, but what is this gonna help me out with after college? It could have potentially gotten me like an internship with Apple, but at the end of the day, like that's not what I don't want to work for a big company. Yeah. It's not as fun.
Yeah, no, I understand. So what is the angle? You keep talking about these like how is it going to help you in your career? So what is that looking like? So what if you could wake up tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And your envelope that you see come out of the mail, that is your opportunity to do whatever you want and get paid exactly what you want. What would it be?
Oh, I already have it, man. My job now, I'm living the dream, dude. Like I could not, if you asked me in high school, if my high school self saw what I was doing now, they'd be shocked, man. It's crazy. I love my job, dude. I work with Bo Nickel and Anthony Cassar, like some of the big wrestlers from Penn State.
So I got to meet them back in high school.
Really?
I did. Well, because I used to do the we used to do that. They had a summer camp.
Yeah.
And we'd be there for like a week, and like all of these guys were just like these big names. I met Bo at the creamery, I think it was, and we were literally just getting ice cream, and we're all leaving, and I remember like, so I was like, yo guys, look. I'm like, what? Oh my god! You can see the cauliflower and everything, and I'm like, oh my god. We walked up like, hey, so like, can we like take a picture? and he was so cool, all of them, and there's a whole bunch from there at the time, but it was so cool, and I saw you posted that with him, and I'm like, dude, there's no way that's so cool.
Yeah, dude. So it's actually funny. So I didn't even know that. So this is like kind of a story. So the first time I ever met Bo was actually freshman year of college, and I was doing like for Thon for cheerleading. We did like a performance and whatever, and we're walking off the stage, and I fist bumped this guy, me and my buddy James, and he turns around to me. He's like, dude, do you know who that is? And he goes, I'm like, absolutely no idea. He goes, dude, that's Bo Nickel. I'm like, okay. He's like, dude, he's a 3-time national wrestling champ. I said, I didn't even know we had a wrestling program here.
Bro, I
had no idea.
Dude, Penn State is the biggest they have their wrestlers when they were in college.
Yeah.
Were competing in the Olympics. And I mean like if they would have won a match in the blood rounds, they're placing top 3.
Yeah,
like
it's nuts. And I played basketball in high school, so it's something that I would never really realize.
You're not in that realm. Sure.
But dude, Bo's a man. It's a great job. He's a great boss. Like I could not ask for a better position than where I'm in like right now. Like this is what I would want to do. As soon as I started doing video, I kind of had this idea of I wanted to do social media for some big athletes and stuff. So I mean, dude, it's a great time. I get to go to like cool places and stuff. And then my other clients, Brad Kraut, big TikTok guy, the academic weapon, kick the sheets.
Wait, you work with him?
I work, so I manage like 3 interns for him. Yeah, dude.
Bro, oh my gosh. No, this is so cool. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I watch all his videos. I wake up, I do all this stuff. I'm the academic weapon. I'm like, dude, bro, that's the kind of stuff I like. Oh, that's awesome.
He's awesome. So I met Brad, I think freshman year. He was working with this company called Jerpa. He still does like stuff with them, but they make like jeans with Sherpa in them, and then like sweatshirts with Sherpa in them and everything. And I bought like the 3rd pair of like Jerpa jeans or whatever from him, because he was helping one of his buddies, Austin, who runs it, sell them and distribute. And from there, like, we've always kind of been friends, and like over the past like 2 years, we kind of connected. We're kind of in the same space, and became like a lot better friends. And now like I help him out a lot with some management side of Kick the Sheets and everything. So it's super cool.
That's wild.
Yeah, dude.
That's so
crazy.
Cool. Like, you working with someone like my, I guess, sorry, Bo, not like you're gonna say this, but like my childhood heroes, and then some of the guys like I see on TikTok that are like, that's the kind of guy that I would love to have around. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're all really good. Like Bo and Tony and them. I work a little bit with Brad, obviously, but most of the time I'm not working directly with them. We have the interns do stuff, and I teach them stuff like that. But with like Bo and them, they're just great influences. Like I needed those people around me at like that time. Like I was just a good kid doing bad things, right? So in January, and like this all happened in like the course of a year. So it's still kind of like mind blowing to me. It hasn't even like set into me yet, because this is like, for me, it's just like whatever. Like this is like that's my life. But like Bo and them, like they don't drink, they don't do drugs. Like I needed that around me at like that certain time, and I'm like, what am I gonna be, the bum in the group that smokes pot and drinks all day? Like I can't be that dude.
Yeah, no.
So like they helped me out, and like they helped me out in that way, and they didn't even like realize it. Like I live, like there's a great Bible verse. I think it's Psalms 27:12. It's like as iron sharpens iron, one person sharpens another, one human sharpens another, and that's so true, man. It's like whoever you surround yourself with, like you are going to be. Like,
birds of a feather flock.
Yeah, you're gonna be the solution to that, like right, or not solution, but the outcome of that. Like that's the biggest thing. You gotta surround yourself with good people.
No, that's facts. That really is the truth of it all. That's why. And those are some good people to be around.
Yeah, like Brad's a little bit more of like the partier and everything.
Sure,
like,
I can see that.
I like it, like because he. I mean, right? Like you work hard, play hard a little bit, right?
Yeah,
I mean. Like I got to go with him to the PFL and everything, and it was just like a good time. PFL is a professional fighters league, so
okay.
Wiz Khalifa and his manager are like co-owners, or I don't know like the exact term, but they work with the PFL, like or own part of the PFL, and that's like they're basically just another fighters league. They're below the UFC. I don't want to say below the UFC because it's like kind of mean, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
So their fighters are they're still like obviously world class and everything, but the UFC is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But
Dana's
dude, he's a genius.
Dude, I know.
Business genius.
Dude, I know. Have you seen the fights that he's been setting up recently too?
Dude,
it's just exploded. People are getting so mad, so just like eviscerated with anger that it's just
he's a great marketer too.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Probably the best marketer besides like in some of these like big tech companies and everything. And he's probably one of the best at it. But yeah, I got to go out with Brad there, and it was like went to New York on the day after Thanksgiving, I think it was, and got to spend time there and like met some really cool people, like some of the UFC fighters and some of my. To me, it's like. It's cool, whatever. Like
see, like for me, right? I watch these guys almost every Saturday whenever they're fighting, or like I'll read about them, or like I keep tabs. That sounds weird, but like follow them on social media. You see what's going on, and like for me, that's just wild that you get to experience that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like I get it when you're around things a lot. This becomes your norm. You're used to it, but that's so wild. Like the fact that you are with Bo Nickel like a regular basis is wild to me.
Yeah, he's just like I said before, like to me it's obviously hanging around like professional athletes really cool and everything, but to me what's more important is how they present themselves and everything. If Bo was like an asshole or a dickhead to me, then it's kind of like I don't really want to be around them. Like maybe I wouldn't be in the position that I am, but like super great dude and everything. So I need that around me.
Yeah.
Like especially as a kid in college who's like trying to figure stuff out. Like if I need the help with my business, he's like, all right, dude, like I'll help you out. Like this is what you should do.
Sure.
Like
no,
stuff
awesome.
like that.
Yeah.
And that's like the biggest thing because he's a fighter and everything. He's a professional athlete, but he's also a really good businessman. Like same thing with Tony, like Anthony Cassar. Like, very good business. Dude, he's going to be a monster, bro.
Really?
Did you watch his fight?
I didn't watch his fight, no.
He fought in Orlando like 3 weeks ago. He flew down there, and he had a guy in a triangle choke, and I think he finished him in like 2.5 minutes. It was nuts.
See, you're just saying like my childhood heroes because we wrestled in high school, right?
Yeah.
It was one of those things that, and when you do jiu-jitsu, like going into like my sophomore year at Ever Precision, it's like, okay, these guys are the ones you always look up to. You always look, and then like you have like Kyle Snyder. I mean, even though he was Ohio, but you had all these names and all these people, and like then you would meet them, and it's like, oh my gosh, these guys are actually really cool. But I guess like my next question is, when it comes to, I don't know if you know anything about Cael Sanderson.
Yeah.
Okay, so would he be the reason that those guys are the way they are? Not with their wrestling style, because I know he's just a monster. But when it comes to like, I've never heard or had experiences with any of those guys being dickheads, right? Now, is that because of how he conducts his team, or is that just these guys were already like that? Or
so I've had the pleasure to be around Cael like a lot, and I would just go out and say that if you are a coach or like you run any organization, like whatsoever, if you're a manager, like take notes on what he does, because he's just a genius behind it.
Yeah.
Just they're all super humble. At the end of the day, he tells them it's like you just go have fun. Like that's the biggest thing. Awesome. Like there's no pressure behind it. Like you might be wrestling at the best wrestling school in the nation, but at the end of the day, it's just go have fun. Like, don't do anything crazy. But I do think that he plays a factor. I also think he doesn't recruit people that are like bad influences or anything.
Sure. Yeah,
like everyone that wrestling room is like, I want to call it like a sanctuary, but it is to a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
Like, that's like their happy place. It's where they go when
it's a nice room
too. Oh, dude,
it's a really nice.
Their facility is insane.
Dude, I know.
But yeah, he's a great guy. He's just, I mean, at every practice he sits everyone down. You just like talks for a couple minutes, and then we play dodgeball. Like that's what they do. Like that to warm up. And to me, I'm like, just playing basketball in high school, like we would run sprints to warm up.
Well, we got that from them. I think it was my sophomore year of high school, not college. Sophomore year of high school. We went to their camp, like going into my sophomore year, and we were there, and those guys how they warmed up, and he goes, we used to play dodgeball. We never used to run, so that's how we would spend a lot of our practices warming up. And I remember after the one game, I was dripping in sweat. More than I would have been if I was running around and warming up.
Yeah.
And then we went right into wrestling, but like we're all like excited and hyped, and I'm like, dude, that actually was a really good warm up.
Dude, it's awesome because it's a fun. That's the biggest thing. There hasn't been. I don't think that I've ever seen like anyone in that wrestling room like not have a good time during practice, because that's the biggest thing. Cool. Like at the end of the day, if you make it, I feel like I've said that 15 times, but like for those kids, it's the thing of, let's take pressure off of them rather than put pressure on them.
Yeah.
I don't need to be screaming in their face for 50 minutes like some coaches do. They can just relax and just go do your thing, because they're best athletes and some of the best athletes and wrestlers in the world, right? Yeah. So you know what to do. Go wrestle, go have fun. If you have questions, we'll teach you. Like that's the biggest thing. It's a great environment over there.
That's actually really cool. It's nice to hear, because it's one of those things where you're such a young age, you're very impressionable, and when you hear those names or see those people, you're like, oh my god. And it's cool to see that like everything they preach to like other people and like youngsters and everything like that it actually does transpire in that room. Because I mean even still for me, like I still watch almost every match.
Yeah.
And like I'm 23 now, and like to them, they're just still all these wild people to me, and it's nice to know that, like it's like that there, and it hasn't changed, it hasn't gotten worse. That's so cool.
It's awesome, man. It's just a bunch of great people to be around, and especially as a college kid when there is so many different avenues that you can take and
distractions.
Yeah, 100%. There's the right and left path every 20 minutes in college. If you want to go out and get drunk, do you want to go do just these drugs with your friends? And you're like, I have this other option here. And that's the biggest thing, is that you just have to figure out which path you want to go on. Now, am I saying that you're always going to do the right thing? 100% no. Like I've done bad things too. But
I agree.
When it all comes down to it, that if you choose the left path more than everyone else. I mean, what we're doing, man, you doing a podcast and everything, me doing what I'm doing, it's not what you would expect two random kids from Collegeville, Pennsylvania to do.
Well, that was the whole thing, because you said if my high school self saw what I'm doing now, like if my high school self saw me, graduating college and doing a podcast, I would have laughed. Well, the college thing, I wouldn't have laughed. I would have expected that. But, to be a semi-pro strongman and to have a podcast, I would have laughed at you, bro. I would. If you would have walked up and be like, "Yo, Matt," so like I had this crystal ball, right? And I looked into it, and I touched it, I felt it up, and I'm staring at it, and you were lifting things, and you had a podcast. I would have been like, "Yo, bro, what the fuck you doing? You're not like a Wiccan, bro," and I would have laughed. There would have been no way.
That's the biggest thing, I think. And I think that's something about getting older, too, is you'll look back and you realize opportunities, like God has a plan for everyone, right?
I would agree.
And that he knows exactly where to put like certain people in your life at the right time and everything. And like looking back on high school, too, is you're very closed-minded because you're going to do it as a 18-year-old, you're going to do what everyone else is going to do 95% of the time. Like, and that's the biggest thing, that you don't always have to do that, and people that realize that, they snap out of the whole. I don't want to like use Andrew Tate's saying, but like escaping the matrix, escaping what everyone else wants to do, and I don't 1,000,000% agree with everything the dude says, but
I'm
like
right there with you.
that stuff is so true.
There's
like, you don't have to go on the same path as everyone else.
And a lot of the time, like, and this is one of the things that like I learned, with like a lot of my older friends and things like that. I'm like, there's just a lot of things you guys do that I don't know, I really don't want to be a part of. And whether it's like partying a lot and like I don't do drugs, so like those things never really interest me. And then all of a sudden, you find maybe these aren't the best people to be around, and then you get that text a couple months later, "Hey man, we haven't really seen you." And then sometimes you gotta be like, "Listen, dude, like you guys smoke a lot of weed, you do some nefarious drugs," and it's not for me. Like I have different goals, I have different situations that I want to reach, and I know like if I'm doing that, I might not.
Yeah, and my biggest thing too is like my buddies from high school that might be doing all that stuff, right? I don't classify them as bad people. I just classify them as good people doing bad things. Because they are good people at the end of the day. Yeah. It's just, for me, like that's not what I'm about. Those will inhibit me. Like I have a very addictive personality.
So do I, dude. Literally.
So that's the thing. Like if I start doing stuff like that, I know that it's not going to take me down a good path. Like if I find something. Like I got like whatever ADHD, OCD, whatever it is, but I get really hyper fixated on stuff like that. So, and it just happened to be video editing, and I just can't stop.
That's exactly
learning shit about it,
dude. It's wild to kind of hear you say this because I had a lot of good people doing bad things, and then I was fortunate enough to be able to pull myself out of it. I do thank God for that. Like I grew up really Roman Catholic, so a lot of that does play into it. But yeah, the hyperfixation with this is like I can spend hours just editing, and if I trick myself into doing some work, that's it. I'm there.
Yeah, it's a different kind. It's a different kind of addiction.
Yeah,
like that's what it is.
Yes, and people don't understand it. They're like, dude, like for example, a couple weeks ago, I'm not gonna name any names. They all wanted to go out. To like Phoenixville, and the thing was I was off that night, and I was already working on stuff like making TikToks, making YouTube videos, all this kind of stuff. And they're like, "Oh, come out! Oh, come on, bitch! Like, come on, bro! Like, you don't see everyone. Like, you work all the time. You're in school." And I'm like, I've already been doing this for like an hour, and I'm just locked in. Like, I'm not moving.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Have you ever like I call it the flow state? So whenever I edit like one of Bo's YouTube videos, usually what I'll do is I'll put my phone away. And I'll stare at my screen. I make a cup of coffee, grab water, and I lock myself in my room, and I don't get up until it's done. Yep. So that could be 8 hours just staring at a screen. Now, obviously, use the bathroom and stuff, but
well, I put my phone under my bed, and I did forget to do it before I started this. I should be more careful because that way texts don't come through. But I made a personal do not disturb because people can break through the other one. So I made it through that people can't break through it. So like if you were to like text or call me, it's not gonna pop up on my screen, and then my like ADHD will get distracted. Yeah. So like I haven't been in a flow state for like 8 hours, but I've been like 4 or 5.
You'll get there. It's like you gotta work up to it. Yeah. I could never do that. If in January I could never have done that, but like now it's way different. It's fun. It's a good time. Like I said, I thank God every day for like the blessing that He gave me, because like I said, dude, I'm living
so
the dream.
cool.
I'm living the dream. I say it every day. Someone asks me how I'm doing, I say I'm living the dream, because
Literally living the dream.
That's what it is.
I feel like people lie when they say that. Like they're living the dream.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah. They lie to themselves, and like that's on them. Like straight up, if you have to work really, like people don't understand. People think that like I just randomly like came up and I got really lucky on like my job and everything, and like part of it is luck, right? Like I was at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But I had to work really freaking hard to get to where I am. People don't realize that. Like people say like, "Oh, Ronan, you're so lucky, man." I'm like, it's not luck. The harder you work, the luckier you get. Like Thomas Jefferson quote, great, like another great one, right? Like you gotta work your fucking ass off to get anywhere in this world. Like there are ways to make an exuberant amount of money without working hard, but I think that's a total lie. Like people think that to make an exuberant amount of money, right, you need to like have multiple businesses and everything, and like have all this, and that is 100% true. But when you're 22 years old and still in college, 23, like you're at an age right now where you can find your way, man. Like you just have to work really. Like, you just have to work harder than everyone else. Like in my head, like I have a big problem with it, because like why I work so much, right, is because I know someone else is working. Yes. Right? Like it's a fear.
Dude, there was this I don't know if you listen to it, but I just did a podcast with the Polychromatics. They're a psychedelic rock band, and their drummer said something that was really, really cool, and I clipped it. I'm making it into a video, so check that out soon, guys. But he said, don't let someone take the spot, or man, fuck, I forget. It was like someone out there is working harder. Someone out there has the position that you are working harder for, and it was something like that. I'll have to find the thing and I'll send it to you. But he said that, and I was like, yo, that's wild. Like someone out there is don't let someone work harder for the position that you want or whatever it is. And I was like, wow, yeah. If I just keep working harder than that, because you always say, like get up early, work on your stuff, go to the gym, make sure you're always working, and not to like to take Andrew Tate stuff, but he's like, someone who wants to go to the gym, or someone who goes to the gym because they have to, or because they want to, will always be better than someone who just decides to go to the gym whenever they can.
No, 100%. It's I totally butchered it, but it's consistency. Like in order to get good at anything, like if you want to learn how to ride a unicycle really well, you should ride a unicycle every single day. Justin Jaworski, when I did a podcast, he said something that was so true. He goes, if you want to get good at something, like if you want to get really good at playing the piano, you should play the piano every day for a really long time. Yeah. Like he's probably the best basketball player to come out of this area in a really long, super long time. From PV, from right? PV. Yeah. Wow. But like it's something that I've always thought of in my head, like as I've been doing like the thing I'm doing. Like that's something that like stuck with me, is that like just anyone in general, if you want to get really good at something, you just gotta like keep doing it. And that goes, if you want to get really big at the gym, I don't know, you should probably
go to the gym. Dude, like, and that's one of the things that like I wish I could show you I'll show my Instagram DMs, but like people always will DM me. They'll be like, yo, so how do I get bigger? How do I do all this? And I'm like, you just gotta go. They're like, well, dude, I like about like a month ago I was going for like 2 months straight. I'm like, well, you stopped. And it blows my mind. Or they're like, well, like, what are you on? I'm like, I'm not on anything. Dude, I wish I could show you how many. No, I shit you not. Like, it is wild. I went to go check for my phone, and it's wow. But yeah, that is the one thing that is my biggest pet peeve with people, is they want to get big or they want to get lean, and they're not in the gym. And what they're doing is just totally abstract what they should be doing.
Yeah, you gotta be really consistent. Yeah. Like no matter what you do, even if you do take steroids, like those people, like they still work really hard.
Yes.
Like,
oh my God. Yes.
If someone squats 1,000 pounds, like I don't care how they do it. That's 1,000 pounds on their back, and like they're doing it. Like I don't know, man. Like,
dude, thank you for saying, because like I'm not on steroids or anything like that. People that I know that are, but like if you take steroids, you still have to like lift. You don't just take them and you just become massive. You don't become like an Eddie Hall or like a Chris Bumstead. You still have to go to the gym. You have to eat an exorbitant amount of food. and then you just might be able to like be in the realm of them.
That,
you know?
Yeah. Oh, dude, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Oh yeah.
Like Liver King's whole thing, like. If you would have told the truth, I would have been like, "Oh, all right, man."
That's what
like,
everyone said.
You're on steroids.
Everyone knew.
Everyone did.
Yes. Yes.
I was a big Liver King fan. I still am. I still am.
Yeah.
But like, dude, I hate that he's on. It's not that I hate that he's on steroids. I hate that it's just like, I just feel like he just lied.
Well,
that whole
that's
time.
the whole thing. It's like if you were on, it's so obvious, right? It's so obvious you're on PEDs, which is fine. Like I don't really care. Most people that I'm around too, like when I'm at like the gym or like the Lions Den or wherever, those guys are all taking shit all the time, and like they don't lie about it. They don't give a fuck. They're out here taking second, third, first, and nats, and they're like, well, everyone does it. So no one really cares. It's just they're gonna look at you in maybe like a different light on social media. But dog, you just spent all this time. Liver is king. This is what Liver King's eating. This is my chef, and I eat this every day to look like this, and it's a little embarrassing.
I'm sure some of it, like the stuff that he eats, is true.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It gives me like, it makes me a little sick to my stomach that you got caught up in this like huge lie and everything, man.
Yep.
But I mean, he's bouncing back from it. He'll still do fine.
Yeah.
He's still gonna sell a crap ton of products.
He was just on Flagrant. I don't know if you know Flagrant,
yeah.
with Andrew
Schultz.
Yeah, and that was cool. When he was on, I was listening to that, and he was like, "Yeah, I know why I'm here. I just, I want to set the record straight and like I really apologize." And I'm like, that there's a lot of people that don't that have doubled down on certain things, but you're not. That I appreciated.
Yeah. He also doubled down on it for like a really long time.
Well, that's also true.
That's the big thing.
That
like,
is true.
Now he's in a spot where he said it, and now he has to apologize and everything.
Yeah,
and dude, like it's like, to me, it's whatever. I mean,
we all knew. Like there was all these TikToks where it goes, "Oh my gosh, guys, Liver Kings was on steroids." No, and I'm like, it's funny because I just wish he didn't double down for like all these years, because then I feel like he could have branded his product like Noel. I don't remember his last name. He's like a massive bodybuilder.
Oh, he's on TikTok.
Yes,
he's the British guy or whatever he is. Yeah. Massive.
Massive. And he like, he's pretty open about it.
Oh yeah.
And like I'm like, dude, he's massive, in probably more ways than one. And like this, I had to make that joke. Sometimes I get him in there, sometimes I don't. But my point being is like he has a massive following, but they all know he's on steroids. But he's not getting canceled for taking steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big thing, man. It's a hard line to cross. Do you follow powerlifting at all?
Oh yeah.
So one of the guys in my marketing class last fall, his name was Sean Mills.
Okay.
He goes by Wheeze. You familiar with him?
Maybe. I don't want to say yes and then I'm wrong.
So he dropped out of school. Awesome story. You should go follow him on Instagram or whatever.
I'll pop it up for you guys.
Yeah,
so you can see it. Yeah.
So he basically went to Penn State and everything, was going to get a degree in marketing or whatever. I don't want to like put words in his mouth or anything, but he got an internship at GBT, like Get Better Today, whatever, the brand. Okay. I wasn't very familiar with it, but I follow him and stuff. And whatchamacallit, dropped out of school, moved to Texas. Now he's got like a job full time.
Nice.
But anyway, I've never seen someone like my age move that kind of freaking weight, man.
What is he moving?
He's squatting like 730 pounds.
And what
like,
weight?
Definitely, he's got to be like 250, 225.
Dude, I squat 710 and he's 250.
Yeah. It's the most insane thing I've
I'm
ever
like
seen.
331 right now. Oh my.
He used to show me his Instagram videos in class, and I was like, holy shit, dude. I didn't know that was possible. Like, that stuff is honestly crazy to me. Like,
well, that's like my realm. Like, that's what I would love to do is like compete professionally in that. But that's wild. You said what, 730?
Something like that, man.
Jesus fuck. And I bet they were kilo plates too, weren't they?
Oh yeah. He's a big legit guy. So it's whatever the Ghost or.
Ghost. Okay, yeah.
Like the nice plates. That's out of my realm.
Those are, but they're also harder to lift in. I don't know if you knew this. So the way that so you were used to 45 plates, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at that 20 kg, it's sitting. They're about this thick, and they're in the bar. And as they go, so like when I get to about like 7, like the bar is bending, but they're all the way in the end. Like I'm maxing the bar out. But with those kilo plates, they're thinner. They're like this. They're that thick, and there's the center of gravity is closer to you.
Yeah.
So when you have a deadlift bar, I don't know if you use a deadlift bar. You know. So they're meant to whip. So that's why they bend more than like a regular power bar. So you're not exactly pulling all the weight up at the same point. You know, it's because it bends. So because they're closer, the bar is less likely to bend, and you're pulling like a full amount of weight. It's harder. Like that is a harder thing to do. That's impressive.
Yeah, that could not be me, man. I've never seen on his Instagram. He's always got like he drinks a lot of Fairlife milk. He says that's the secret. Fairlife.
People love milk, dude. People should be drinking milk.
I don't know. Like I mean, I switched. I think that all milk and like all that bullshit is disgusting and awful for you. Like oat milk, whatever it is.
So you're on the complete opposite side of the milk situation, aren't you?
I drink whole milk, bro.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah. No, okay. I think that all milk and all that stuff, like I think it's so bad for you, bro. Like, I think so. Do you follow Carnivore MD on Instagram?
Yes.
Love Carnivore MD.
Yes.
Huge fan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the stuff. Most of the stuff he says. Like, I think that you should eat vegetables, but
without a doubt.
But I've been on the other side for a really long time when like Liver King was like, vegetables are awful. And then as I learned, and I just listened, like hanging around with like Bo and Tony and all them, it's great because like they just tell me what to eat and like whatever. Like if I see them eat something, I'm like, I should probably eat that, right? Like,
well, a lot of the guys that I'm around, they got me into bison.
Bison's gas, bro.
Dude, but it gets so expensive. But like you can get it ground at like Costco.
It's so good.
It's so good. I tell everyone, I'm like, dude, it's a lot leaner. It's not hard to cook with, and essentially you can do almost the same thing that you can do with like regular ground beef.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. They go, I cooked it. There's not as much grease. I'm like, I'm telling you, dog.
It's fire, dude. Yeah, I think eating a lot of red meat is like good for you. I try and I don't eat like a lot of fish. Fish is gas.
I love fish.
Just try not to eat a lot of it, like microplastics and all that. Like it's whatever. I mean, we're all gonna die one day anyway. So
I should eat less fish, but
it's gas. Who cares?
It is so good, dude.
Human being.
So
good. Like for us to eat something, it's like whatever. For Carnivore MD, he's like what 50 or something. It's probably near there. Yeah. Like for him, it's like you should probably he is all in on this. Like he's jacked, bro.
Oh, massive.
I don't understand. Like he doesn't look like he's on steroids because I don't think he is.
Well, there's a lot of guys like you can get if you live the lifestyle like genuinely. I think you can get perfect example. So like my coach, I guess like person that took me under their wing with this whole strongman thing. Right? Dude is massive. He competes in like the 190s, I guess you could say. They do Euros, but they use but so he's massive. I mean, like quad muscles, dude, and he won the Arnold in the amateur. Now he's a pro, and doesn't take PEDs, nothing, no like D-ball, nothing of that, and he's just all natural. And it's genuinely all that. Like you can do that.
It's so crazy, bro.
You just have to but he doesn't drink, and like when he's competing, he is so strict with what he eats. He has a legit routine, 1 or 2 times a day. But the mindset's different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. To be really good at anything, you have to be. I'm so dead serious that the people that are best at something in the world, they're psychopaths. They're just straight psychopaths.
That is a fact.
Like you have to be. You have to be. Yeah. There's no shot. Elon Musk, psychopath, super smart dude.
Yes,
psychopath.
Yes.
Like Steve Jobs was a psychopath.
Yep.
Like all these great people. Mr. Beast, psychopath. Like,
well, did you ever hear his story?
Mr. Beast
talk about? He was on JRE.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I used to spend like 13 hours a day working on just thumbnails.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
That's my idol. I love Mr. Beast. If I like, that is the one person that through this whole thing, like the journey that I'm on, like him and Gary Vee. Like if I could meet them, that would be that'd be it. Those were the only 2 people that I would really like. I think I would fangirl about. Like
That's how I feel about like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. Same. Like I wouldn't even like fangirl that much about Joe Rogan because like me and him like same space, so I would have like something to talk to him about. Like same thing with Mr. Beast, but I'd be like, bro, like he was a huge thing. When I met Wiz Khalifa, totally.
Yeah, how was that? I saw it on your Instagram.
Yeah, it was a really nice dude, man.
That's
like
so cool.
He
you were living the life, man.
Yeah, dude. He was like cool. I'll tell you exactly what I said to him. I came up to him after so. Wiz's manager helps Brad and his brothers like with the kick the sheets thing, and he like Wiz's manager like introduced Brad and his brother, and I was like, crap, like he didn't say anything about me. So after they walked back, I had to go up. I'm like, I'm not gonna miss this opportunity.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Go up there and say something. And I was like, hey man, I'm Ronan. Like I just want to say like I'm so happy. I mean, just congrats on all this success, man. Like my name's Ronan. Like I'm a videographer. Like he goes like, thanks, man. Keep doing your thing. And I was like, damn, that's so cool, bro.
That's so cool.
That's so
he said,
cool.
Dude, that's what I would have been.
Yeah,
I would have been mumbling, bumbling.
He faced like 5 blunts before that. So
Really?
like, oh, dude. Yeah.
Well, that's what I
he
would
is
be
the ultimate weed smoker besides Snoop Dogg. But
that's really aside from he's that heavy in weed.
Oh,
like,
a million %.
Oh my gosh.
But he's
good for him,
dude. Wiz Khalifa, probably one of the greatest businessmen I've ever. After meeting him and stuff, like I felt obligated to like learn a little bit more about him and everything.
Sure.
He owns Liquid Death. He has his own gin company.
Wait.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I don't know why I said yes because I didn't know that. Wait, he owns Liquid Death?
I'm pretty sure, or part owner,
That's
something.
Wild.
Somewhere along
I
those
love
lines.
Liquid Death.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge, but I know that he's part of that and everything. The PFL, like he has his own weed and everything. Has his own weed company.
Wow.
Like he's not just like a rapper.
Wild.
He's a business guy. Like
that's cool. That is actually
a big
really
thing.
Really cool. I did not know that.
He also has this. So him and his cousin. I was talking to his cousin a lot, and they were on this gym called High Rollers in Vegas. And when when Bo had his Contender Series fights and everything, we like the PI Performance Institute at the UFC isn't open on Sundays. So, I mean, Contender Series on Tuesday night. So, like he had to go train and like cut weight.
Sure.
And that was the only gym that was open. And like, so it's basically a gym that you like. It's a jiu-jitsu gym where you go smoke pot and then you go roll.
Dude, a lot of people do that.
It's a big thing. I never did when I was doing jiu-jitsu.
Neither did I. Well, I don't. So weed is weird for me. Like I get like okay. So just small tidbit. If I smoke weed, for all you guys out there, if I smoke weed, this conversation I will play it through a million times in my head. I'm like, oh, dude, Ronan hates me, bro. It was the worst conversation. No one's gonna want to listen to it. What am I doing with my life? And then I will hate the experience. But those guys that take it, especially like Precision, those guys will smoke a shit ton of weed and go and roll and do like just like flow or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they say that like it's not good to learn, but it's good to just like get really relaxed. Like I don't know, it's not my cup of tea, but yeah, dude, it's like that business that's such a good business idea.
What?
Like
the
weed smoking gym. So what they do is they have like competitions and
it's
everything.
Called
High rollers, yeah, with a Z. It's super cool, but like. Wiz Khalifa, man, I had no idea he was like such a.
That's so cool.
Such a phenom in the industry and everything. He's also got like 40 million Instagram followers, so like he's doing something right.
Yeah.
You know, also being Wiz Khalifa helps.
That does help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's came up with like half the songs of our generation. So,
yeah,
like,
and things that I probably still listen to.
Yeah, See You Again has like 5 billion views.
What?
Yeah, on YouTube. I was just listening to Impulsive's podcast with him, like Logan Paul's. And Wiz Khalifa, they were talking, and he said, like, yeah, See You Again has like 5 billion views on YouTube. Like, that's an insane number.
Oh my God. That's wild. That's an insane amount of people.
Right?
No,
like,
I guess what 5 billion. We just had 8 billion people in the entire world.
Yeah, it's more than half the world's population has in theory listened to that song.
I guess because
like,
people replay it or whatever.
People replay it again.
Yeah,
but 5 billion.
That's impressive.
Like Despacito, what? I mean, I think that's the most popular. I mean, I think that's the most watched video of all time on YouTube. Correct me if I'm wrong. I
don't know. I mean,
yeah,
I'll look it up after this. Because like that is one thing I will do. Like if I say something stupid, which I do,
yeah,
a lot of the time, it's like I'll like there's if you go back and like look, like I'll be wrong about something and I'll put it up and I'm like I was stupid, or whatever it was. So I won't do that. I won't say you're stupid. But I'm just saying like if it was me, I like to self-deprecate, I guess. But that's wild. I didn't know Despacito was. I knew that was big. I knew there was like a whole like Alexa play Despacito like as like a joke and like
I'm pretty sure like Spanish. This might be wrong. Spanish is probably like the most spoken language in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
yes
I
or
speak
no?
it pretty well.
Yeah,
that's. I mean,
English.
I always kept up with it.
Oh, I didn't.
Dude, I'm telling you, it is helped, especially being like the restaurant industry too, is like it helps a lot.
Oh,
because
sure.
yeah, because it's especially with the level that I think that I speak it is like there's been plenty of times where I have to go to like a table and like I can tell it's a lot easier to speak in Spanish, and I'm like, all right. And then, so.
Yeah, not my thing. I only had to take one. Spanish class at Penn State, and I'm so happy. Bro, I got a 3 on the AP Spanish exam, and I was like, that's all I need, bro.
All right,
I just had to take one class, and then I was done. I was done with that shit,
I always liked it. That was one thing I did enjoy was Spanish, because it was cool, because like, I also felt like if I went out, I'm not like totally ignorant to the world. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because like there's been times when like okay, like there was like one time I was door dashing, and I was at the China Inn, and I'm like waiting, and like this one lady's like trying to order, and like they're speaking Spanish, and she's like breaking up English, and she didn't understand how to say chicken as chicken. She was saying pollo, and I'm like, oh man. And then you have this lady, this Chinese lady who's being so sweet, but just can't understand. I'm like, chicken. She wants chicken. She wants chicken. Please, your God, just give her chicken. And it's just like there's this language barrier, and I'm like, oh my God, guys, we need to figure this out. So there's been times like that's happened, but
yeah, dude. Now you can just like Google Translate it. It's sick.
Well, there's
technology's wild,
dude,
bro.
No, there's like headphones that will translate things in real time, right? I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called here, but I have seen them before.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, technology's wild, man. It's scary.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, like 2 years, we'll just get Neuralink and we'll be good.
Oh my God, I don't know if I would do it. Because Elon was talking about like he's having like test things for Neuralink and things like that. That was Elon, right? That was doing Neuralink.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to see like a lot of people do it before me, but I'm totally down, man. Like,
see, I don't know, man. Like,
infinite knowledge, bro. You'd have infinite knowledge.
I know. See, here's my thing. I love the human so like the reason I enjoy doing this so much is I get to talk to someone and really kind of like see and pick your brain and really kind of understand who you are. And I feel that the human connection's not going to be there.
That's a really good point. I never really thought about that
that's
way.
What I worry about.
But my logic approach is like, I could edit so much easier.
Oh my God. Dude, are you kidding me? I could be like, and that's the one thing is like, so like my desk, right? Mac screen here, but there's only so much I could do. But like, I guess, you know, you can have like a screen up here. I can have my notes, writing everything down. And then I have this up here, I have my screen here. I guess you could do a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think there's something so pure about the human existence where like you fuck up.
Yeah.
You have this conversation. Maybe someone cuts you off, right? But I don't know. I just think there's something beautiful about how people interact. And I feel like you can see like a little bit. Like my friends are amazing with this. No one really goes on their phone. But, you know, you even see it like there's the whole joke of like iPad kids.
Yeah.
And like,
that's
what I'm worried about, bro.
I hate the thing that pisses me off the most. Now, I get it when you're like a parent and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, but when I see a like 6-year-old with an iPhone, like my kid is not doing that shit, bro.
I didn't have a phone until sophomore year of high school.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I had my first phone like 7th or 8th grade, but like I'm not gonna act like I was like an angel. Like I used an iPad as a kid too, but like, dude, like I hated like sitting inside and stuff. Like,
dude, Philip Tacking down there, Madison, Emily Dangler, all this. We used to like all get together and like play Manhunt for hours and do all that stuff. And that's the one thing is those iPad kids are never gonna experience that. And that's what I'm saying is like I'm worried about the Neuralink thing because yes, infinite knowledge, be able to maybe control a car with your brain and all this kind of stuff and do all these really cool things. But my worry is the human experience gets lost. Because you even see it now, like with Tinder and everything. Just go on there, you hook up. Next thing you know, you're good to go. But then you're not going out and meeting people. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I'm just old school, but I do worry about the human experience getting lost.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. It's not like I think technology is great, to an extent.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I mean, it's nice to like go talk to people. My network and everything, I've shot like DMs and stuff, but most of the people that I've like met in my network are like I've met in person.
Yeah.
It hasn't been anything. I'm sure I've shot like a couple DMs like here and there.
Yeah.
Like,
I've shot 2, because Stephanie Grace I knew, the Polly's reached out to me, but
yeah, dude, you should make it like your goal 10 DMs a day. Like just start firing off.
That's actually really smart. Why did I not think of that?
Dude, you should DM like 10 people and say like, yo, I got this podcast. Like literally write something in your notes app, copy, paste, send it to 10 people. Like just change the name.
That's smart.
Oh,
why did I not?
Dude, there's so many. Social media is such a powerful tool that like.
I definitely just irate people doing this, but
it's the
yeah.
But dude, it's the most insane thing,
because that's actually really smart. The one thing that I do have that takes a lot of my time is not only do I host it, but I produce it, I edit it, and I guess producing is editing, but like that is the one thing where it's like the social media gets hard for me, because it's like it almost falls into like the last thing that I do, and I try to do it peak hours between like 5 and 6. Yeah, and it's like, fuck, I might miss that, and then it's 8 o'clock, and then
dude, it's whatever, post whenever. Like my biggest thing is like with social media and just like advice in general. Like it's not rocket science, man. No, like there's no secret sauce. Like when I talked to Brad about like social media and everything, he just posted like 30 times a day. Jesus. Right? Like, and that's a lot, but the stuff, like his content isn't edited or anything. He just holds up his phone, takes video, and that's it. Right? And it's the more you post, like the better chance that you have, right? Than like of one video taking off. Yeah. But yeah, dude, just start like, if I were you, I'd be just taking these clips, like take every like good snippet of conversation that we had, like push it into like 30 seconds. CapCut has a really good tool where it like auto captions everything. You ever see those videos on TikTok? They're all CapCut. Well,
I saw a lot of yours, like your lifting ones. Those are awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
I also love the lifting scenes. Like that was just an easy way to like give it a follow your content.
Yeah. I appreciate it, bro. But yeah, like there's like so much like little stuff that you can do, or hire someone on Fiverr, dude. Like you do it for like $5. People do it for like $5-10 from Pakistan or like whatever. Ukraine. Yeah,
I mean, and I'll just have you text me so I don't forget. But yeah,
that's a big thing,
right?
Fiverr. Yeah. But dude, there's so many. Social media doesn't have. People try and make it rocket science, and I don't think that's what it is.
Neither do I. I didn't think it was. The only thing that I really have like time is just to sit and edit, because like even if I'm making like, so I did like a minute clip of like my one buddy Kevin, he had a guy have a heart attack in his chair when it was like first couple cuts, and I'm like, holy shit. But even just breaking that down, cutting out the ums and the ends and just breaking it down, it takes a decent amount of time.
I 1,000,000% understand.
That is the one thing is like people like text me like, oh my gosh, I saw that video, that was wild, someone really did that. I'm like, yeah, because that's so cool. And like my little brother goes, did you just like cut that out of the podcast? Like, I listened to it. And I'm like, well, yeah, but like, he goes, why did it take so long to edit? I'm like, because you have to put things in, you gotta cut it down. If he's saying and then spacing out for 2 seconds to continue his story, you gotta cut that out.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. But like my biggest thing is like whenever you edit a podcast, and so I tell the interns too, right? So if you edit a video, you're making the clips from it, right? Spend the extra hour and just blade, throw it in the vertical format and you're good. Yeah. Like it doesn't have to be crazy over edited or anything. It just has to be like whatever your conversation is the content. Yes. Right? Like that's the biggest thing. Like Bo goes to practice, like I'm just going to take videos of him at practice, right? And like post that. Like some of like I do like some over editing and stuff there, but that's like part of it. Some of those videos you have to do and do well on social, but like Steak Sunday and stuff, like it's just him making steak, bro. It's not crazy rocket science with some cool B-roll in it. Yeah. It doesn't need to be this overdone production. People think that you need so much money to start on social media, and it's just like not.
Dude, literally, people will be surprised of like how, like, because when you walked in, you were like, oh, this is so cool, but like I feel like this is very basic.
Oh, dude, I don't give a shit, bro. Like, this is my biggest thing. If someone's like doing something, like, I am all for it. Like, you're trying to do something, bro. Like, congratulations. If someone came up to me and was like, I've had a couple people DM me like, yo, how do I get started in like doing what you're doing? I'm like, you got an iPhone? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, go record shit and make a video out of it.
Literally.
Like, download iMovie and figure it out, or Premiere or whatever, like whatever it is. Like, you just have to take that first step. The first step, leap of faith into anything, is the hardest. Because in my opinion, the master path, right? Like, the master path starts on the other side of a cliff. Right, and you have to jump over to even start. And people were so scared to take that jump. So like, whenever I see someone doing anything, like people that do like stupid TikTok dance and everything, like Katie Feeney, this girl gets so much shit at Penn State, and she's a sophomore, and she's got like 7 million followers on TikTok. Yeah, she's one of the most followed people on TikTok, and people give her so much hate and everything, and I'm like, bro,
she has followers. That's why
she's doing stupid dances and making way more money than you are. So like, shut up.
That's the one thing. Like even like they people shit on like even the biggest, like Charli D'Amelio, as like they're like, oh, they're just making makeup, and I'm like, yeah, but dude, you could legitimately tell them to fuck off and end their life, and they're just gonna go make $1 million off of a video while you're in your mom's basement, bro. Yeah, like that's how I see.
Keep scrolling through TikTok. The biggest thing is social media is made to consume, right? So like. You, we're consumers and we're producers of the content, right? And people that just consume, like, they're so dumb, bro. Like, people that just consume on social media, like, no, I'm not saying everyone's dumb that consumes social media, but like, right? There's so many. Like, if you want to start doing social media, like, do stupid TikTok dances. Like, they'll probably do really well.
Especially if you like the trendy ones, like the Wednesday thing that was just a whole thing. Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't need to be. Is it going to be like a little bit cringy? Like, yeah, but so is everything when you start it. Like, bro, like my first couple of videos that I made, I look back on like, holy shit.
Did you do those TikTok dances?
No, I never did TikTok dances, bro. I'm not. That's not me. But. Like, I've done, like, stupid trends and shit. Like, it's just funny. Like, at the end of the, like,
I always think it's funny. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but my biggest thing is just, like, go out and try it. It's, like, it's not that bad. Like, you don't need, people think that, I've had people DM or text me and stuff and, like, yo, what camera do you have? Like, I want to start making, like, videos and stuff. And I'm like, just use your iPhone, bro.
Dude.
Like, it works just as well.
Bro,
like,
that's what I tell every single person. And I went out who it was. He goes, hey, what camera do you use to film? Because also you're in 4K. I'm like, no, like it's HD. And they go, well, what do you use? I'm like, dude, I use my iPhone.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be
like,
crazy.
Yeah, they're like, what? I'm like, I record the entire thing on my iPhone, and I go in and post edit with the microphone, and I cut the iPhone audio. And they go, what? I'm like, dude, swear to God.
Yeah.
It's so primitive.
It's crazy. People, I don't know, man. I think that the one thing is laziness, and I think the second thing is like, people have everyone thinks they have an eye for quality. So, like, my quality, I can guarantee I could make a car commercial with an iPhone.
I've seen your content, dude. You definitely could, without a doubt.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But my biggest thing is, like, if I can do that, like, so can you. Yeah. Like, I'm nothing. People think that everything is, like, you have to be God gifted and everything. Like, bro, I started doing video stuff like 3 years ago. Yeah. Like, that's, in the grand scheme of things, like, that's what, like, 0.3 of 100 years or three, whatever. I'm trying to quantify. I'm trying to quantify it, but anyway, skip over that. But, like, it doesn't take 3 years in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of time.
No,
like,
at all.
So I have so much room for potential. Like, there's 20 years down the line, I'm going to be doing stuff that's crazy, but. Where I'm going with all this is that everyone has like an eye for quality, and that people get carried away. This is the bad thing about social media, is that, like, straight up, bro, like, I'm not as ripped as I am on social media. Like, it is what it is. Like,
that's not even just you, dude. That's
everybody.
Because there's guys that like expose themselves. They're like, listen, you might see me as this shredded dude on a stage or like on these videos, but like, here's me in like regular light. Like, I see those videos all the time.
Yeah, and people think that, like, I can't start without this, and this, and like, bro, it's just not true. It's just not how it is. It's not true about anything. If I wanted to go, like, I'm trying to think of something. The first thing that came to my mind is a doctor, but like you gotta study it and shit ton for that. But
yeah.
If you want to start like anything, like if you want to start like a drop shipping website, like the first one's probably gonna be horrific, and it's probably not gonna make any sales. But your second one might be a little bit better. Then your third one's gonna be a little bit better, and your fourth one, like it's the same thing with like podcasts. I'm sure that if you look back at your first podcast, it's like, wow, this is shit, and I hate myself. Dude, like,
I wonder if I have the video in here. I'll show you at the end. But it's like it's an old video of all of us learning how to get a camera for because the problem is so when you have a WAV file, right? And then you have like the camera and think that the audios don't match up. Yeah. Like you would think that eventually, like, because they can for like a minute, but there's this thing called audio drift. Yeah. So at the end, when I put this in like DaVinci, we're like a second off on the audio. Yeah. So you have to waveform it and then elastic wave it and make it to fit. We didn't understand that, so we were trying to put like a webcam up, and like it was a whole thing. The lighting looked bad. We were using a shitty webcam. It was so embarrassing. But now it's like I can shoot in 4K. I can do all this stuff.
Yeah. Have you tried just like clapping?
You didn't see that?
Did you do that?
That's what I did in the beginning.
Oh, I'm sorry. I probably didn't even recognize it.
So I clap in the beginning of every video.
Yeah.
But when I put it in, I match the claps up.
Yeah.
Towards like 30 minutes, the waves don't match.
Really?
So basically what happens is the bit rates to like the iPhone, I can match it with this wave, but the bit rates are different. So the problem is when you get to 30 minutes, we're like a second off, and you hear the difference. So I have to. There's a thing called like an elastic wave in DaVinci. Same thing with Premiere. Is you click it and you can move. You can expand the wave, so it changes the bit rate, and you can then match it exactly.
It's really interesting.
So
never really thought about that.
Neither did I. It was one of the first things, and we're idiots. I was using iMovie, bro. I had no idea. Yeah. And now I'm using like DaVinci's not Premiere, but it's like I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yeah.
But like I can do so much stuff on there, and then I like literally found it on YouTube, and it was like a year later. I'm like, why did I never look to do this?
Yeah, dude, the information's always out there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, but I hate to wrap this up. We were at like an hour and 17.
Oh, dude, you're good, bro.
It's all good.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
That was really cool. We should definitely do this again, and when you're back from state, we'll.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Hit me up at any time.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much.
Go follow Big Man's Cabana.
Yeah, go follow Big Man's Cabana. You guys know where to find all that, but. The Ronan Bell, I'm going to put all his stuff live right now, so you'll see that there. Check out his social media. This guy's awesome. His content is amazing, and he's doing some good things. So get on the wave before he gets popular. And when you start hitting him up, he's not going to want to talk to you because he's going to be massive. Of course, he'll still talk to you. But all right, guys, thank you very much. Ronan, you're awesome.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.